While we wait for the bond to buy, it's the perfect time to go over patch notes 9.18 by Shoi Shouju and Riot Aether. Hannah, Shoi Shouju Woo, what do you got for us? Hey patch notes readers. Want to form a contract with me? Is that a reference to something? We're coming down to the final stretch. 9.19 will be the patch Worlds is played on, so we're adding in some changes that shouldn't rock the boat too much, but helps get us to a place that encourages champion diversity and fun times during the most hype event of the year, squiggle. That would be too disruptive. Bonehead as a character, you'd see picked or banned 100% of the games. With that in mind, in this patch we're taking another look at Aatrox and Akali specifically to make sure they don't completely dominate the meta, since we've been seeing high picks and playtime in Pro throughout the year. See you in another 2 weeks. But if you decide to die for the good of the universe, call me anytime. I don't know what that reference is, but cool. We got some fresh new skins added up at the top here. Star Guardian Rakan and Zaya and Zoe and Nico, including her Prestige Edition, will be available on September 12th. Aatrox. Passive now heals for less against minions, Q damage to minions reduced and flattened. I think they could have upped the cooldown on his Q, which probably would have been enough. Aatrox is still highly valued in pro play, so we're taking another swing at him. We're nerfing his sustain and wave clear at the late laning phase points, around 7 to 11, to hit his flexibility in lane matchups and his ability to flex into multiple roles. Damage to minions scaling from 50 to 100% to less than it was even at level 1. That's pretty funny. No more scaling and less than it did before. Now that is a pretty serious removal. Heals for bonus physical damage dealt to anything. Now deals for 25% of the damage dealt when stabbing a minion. Healing versus other targets unchanged. So he still heals for all bonus physical damage dealt to anything except for to minions. Okay. Those are weird hits, but I don't know. Aatrox is a character I think that you can take care of. Like, he's strong, but there's always a character that's gonna be pretty strong. Aatrox is, compared to release Aatrox, the new Aatrox that doesn't revive and everything, he seems not as scary anymore, but he was really insane earlier in the year, so maybe I'm just happy that he's not as good as he was before. But he's still a good character, and he's got tankiness and CC, and he can dive into the middle of the fight. Like, he's just all around a pretty decent character that having him mid or top or even jungle is really not that bad. Akali. I picked up Akali recently and played a couple games on her. The character. My problem with Akali is that she's too tanky for no reason. Like, her base tankiness stats are higher than Jax's, and that really does not make any sense. And then another thing too is that she does a fuckload of damage. What did this ping me? It's not even bot. She does a fuckload of damage even though she doesn't have to buy magic pen boots. There are a lot of characters that if you don't buy magic pen boots, you're killing your damage potential a lot. Akali, I don't think that anybody buys magic pen boots. Everybody goes tabbies or survivability on her. It's just like, kind of annoying. Boots, Sork shoes, okay. They are taken over 50% of the time. Is this patch? Or is this... Yeah. Huh. Nobody in my games ever builds Sork shoes. Hmm. She's still stronger than Teemo, so he needs a nerf. Amen. Ouch. My elbow. Good news for you, Pickle. They got the Teemo buffs in this patch. They made his mushroom sack bigger. They've increased his maximum weight limit, so he's no longer over encumbered. R cooldown increased early, R1 stun removed. Thank you. That was so annoying. R2 base maximum damage decreased early. Similar to Aatrox, we're focusing our changes on Akali's pro presence, specifically in limiting her power before her level 11 spike. We're removing the stun from her R1 2 to increase counterplay to open up the number of champions that can play against her. Basically, anything ranged should be able to play against her, which is really sad because she shits on so many characters. Uh, she's she's too tanky. Like, I don't think that it makes sense for her to be as naturally tanky as she is with all of her escapes and stuff like that. It's cool for her to be like her ninja motif and have her be able to do escapes. I'm totally okay with that, but if you're gonna play up that angle of the character's identity, like, you need to make them squishy. And Akali's not squishy. Remove the stun, which I'm totally fine with. That's a half-second stun. Like, that's a pretty serious removal of CC. Then the damage is down by 60 at level 1, and then 30, and then scales back up to normal. And the cooldown is increased by 40 seconds at rank 1. I'm totally okay with that. I think that they're going to eventually nerf her base stats too, because it's really, really oppressive. Like, her survivability in lane and her ability to poke people and not really have a lot of counter against it is very annoying. And the fact that she builds sustain items like Gunblade make her survivability way easier to like, the punishes that you can get against her in the first place are not as good. She should, like, if we compare base stats of Katarina, this is not gonna give me the base stats, right? Okay, it does. So Katarina has slightly higher base health, energy, armor, and magic resist 23 and 37. 27, 32. So I think that this is, like, I don't think that Akali should have this much magic resist at level 1. Like, 5 more than Katarina? What's the point? How's that fair? I don't really know. Because you're gonna take a mage versus her most of the time. It's just kind of annoying. Like, poking against Akali with Ari or somebody feels like I don't do any damage, but maybe I should focus more on auto attacks. I don't know. I feel like I just get shit on every single time. Got higher health regen. I scale to about the same HP. Just got 5 movement speed on Cat as well. I'm just looking at Cat as a character that I don't feel the same way about. Like, I feel like I can poke out Katarina pretty easy. Katarina also has a lot more trouble getting off that sustain to try and heal up off of Gunblade and stuff, so I don't know. I think that she was always that tanky, but when they changed the shroud, yeah, she used to get bonus a bunch of shit for just standing in it, right? That's changed here. Kali Shroud nerf. Oh, they removed stealth from turrets a while ago. Maybe this is another thing that I'm mad about too. Uh, Maybe I remember this healing when it really doesn't. I don't know. It's like I got beat up by so many Akalis that I just have bad memories of what she can actually do because they changed so much about her. Anyway, I'm glad that they took off that stun. The stun was really fucking annoying. This is a character that felt like it was just too good. Like if you knew how to play her properly, you just killed everybody. And by killed everybody, I mean like you killed the one person that you wanted to kill, and then you went into your shroud and did some more damage and never died. You were disconnected from the server. Come on, Bond. James Bond. Anyway, I'm happy about this. This removal of the stun is way bigger than this damage, in my opinion. Annie now grants decaying movement speed, damage reduction decrease, cooldown increased. So giving Annie more pep in her step in lane with an additional benefit on her E so she can make more plays when on her own. Any movement speed. So popping Molten Shield now grants you 25% plus 1.5 per level decaying bonus movement speed over 1.5 seconds. So she gets like a mini Predator buff. So go and smash people. I've always been an Annie hero. So that makes me happy. Probably doesn't change a ton. Makes her ganks better though. Ganking bottom is kind of tough, so with an additional like 20 ish, like this is, you're probably going to be ganking bottom at level 6, right? So 1.5 by 6. 6 by 0.5, that's 3, so 9 movement speed. So you're at 34% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. Decaying. Like, it's still, that's gonna be a bigger gap closer than it seems, in my opinion. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy that they added something to her kit that makes her a little more complex, because she's a very straightforward character. I like it. Cool change. Aurelian. I'm not sure. Molten Shield goes on both Annie and Tibbers, but it just says Annie gains, not targets affected by Molten Shield. But Riot's notoriously bad at wording uh their stuff. Like we'll see in game, right? Like I wish that they would have the developers actually put this shit in because it seems like whoever is writing this, like a lot of the time they're wrong or they don't clarify on like a high enough level for everybody to understand exactly how it affects it. But really, it only takes one game of playing against it to be like, okay, Tibbers gets the shield and moves faster or whatever. Aurelian's base health is up by 65. That's not bad. It's an auto attack of life. Kate to 62. That's actually really good. I'm happy about that. I had one of my biggest problems in League of Legends with the Runes Reforged thing and the marksman update is that there were the amount of characters that are really easy to punish in lane got totally destroyed. Like the Vayne, sure she has like low base health, but now with fleet footwork, if you feel like you're gonna die, you can take fleet footwork and then you're not going to die. Uh, but you lose out on the damage of press the attack. Caitlyn used to shit on so many people, but now they feel so much safer compared to they did in like season 7. In season 7, like Caitlyn with what was it called? The red one that looked like a guy holding a spear. Uh, old League of Legends Masteries. This guy. Dun, dun, dun. They have the words here. Ferocity. Remember ferocity? Fervor, right? Fervor for battle? I think that's it. League of Legends Fervor. Yeah, this shit. This shit was so good. And it made characters like Caitlyn fucking kick ass. I miss the Deathfire Touch Jhin too. I saw a lot of people complaining about Runes Reforged. Well, not a lot of people complaining, but there's a guy that I follow on Twitter that talked about how everybody gets free spell vamp now compared to how it used to be, which is absolutely true. Like the red tree in League. Is it? Is it in collections? Oh, it's around here. There we go. The red tree, Taste of Blood, and what's this one called? I forget. Something. These two things for free spell vamp are pretty crazy in value for a lot of characters and make them way safer. Make laning so much easier, which I think they wanted to do. Like, laning was definitely harder before. So, I'm glad that they're giving Kate a little bit more punish potential. Because there are a lot of people that I think that Kate should beat in lane by being able to poke them with long range. Like, you should... Caitlyn should beat Kai'Sa in lane, in my opinion, and then get outskilled late by Kai'Sa being able to ult forward and kill her in one combo. We'll see. 2 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a lane, like if you auto attack somebody 5 times, that's 10 extra damage on them. So I'm okay with that. They gave Lucian a tiny buff like that last patch too, right? 9.17 patch notes. I don't think that it moved the needle a lot for him. They gave Lucian 3. And that moved his win rate by how much? Probably not a hell of a lot. Oh, over 1%. That's fine. 15th place to 11th place is pretty good. Like, there are so many characters that I think should have more of an identity in the bottom lane. Like, there are a lot of characters that do still have an identity in the bottom lane. Like, I think that Kaisa and Zaya have an identity, and Jinx has an identity. But, like, Sivir, Caitlyn, the big problem is Twitch, Varus, Kog'Maw. Uh, like, they're all pretty much the same character. You just stand in place and go crazy. Uh, like, I think that there should be more focus on early game characters. Like, Lucian should be able to kill Vayne, in my opinion, early. Why is that not a thing? Like, if you walk into a 1v1 versus a Vayne on Lucian at level like 3 or 4, you're gonna get fucking owned, in my opinion. If you have a support, like, Lucian's cooldowns are too long. He's just gonna get auto attacked to death. Oh, Ashe is in the same category as Twitch Varus as well, because she just does the same thing, just stand in place. They have different alts, but they do the exact same fucking thing. Draven sort of has an identity, but Draven and Jhin are very similar now. Like, in my opinion, this is all my opinion. I played all of these characters and I think that they're all cool, but there's definitely way too much overlap in my opinion. They need to give characters more of an identity in what part of the game they have strengths and weaknesses. Uh, they're messing with Echo. Our previous buffs to Echo in 9.16 didn't go as far as we wanted, nudging him towards more aggressive playstyle. Stun duration to 2.25 seconds. Okay, so it's up half a second. And the cost is down. On ADC, what matters is who has the cutest skin. Absolutely. And therefore, Pugma should be moved from last place to first place. You know, they don't show you what skins are winning, though. I'm sure that, like, probably if you don't have a skin on Kog'Maw, you probably lose close to 100% of your games. And if you have Pugma, you're probably close to 100% on wins. I'm fine with this. They could change the amount of delay that there is on W as well to make it easier to land. Because it seems like a pretty easy ability to dodge, in my opinion. Evelynn, they are empowered damage amplifier is up by 40%? Excuse me? Evelynn isn't overly weak at the moment, but we want her to more reliably take down her targets if she manages to get them under the execute threshold. Evelynn fucking murders everybody. What? This character's insane. She gets a plus 40% damage on execute? Why? As her empowered damage scaling is up. What? Why? It's so stupid. Yeah, they missed a kill once. We gotta buff that by 40% damage and increase the base damage too, probably by an ability power modifier and 50 flat, up to an additional 250 flat or 150 flat. That's crazy. Evelyn fucking stomps, man. In my, again, in my opinion, if you're an AD and you're playing against Evelyn, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, she's just gonna kill me. I don't know. I definitely don't think she needed a buff, especially a buff that big. I think that's really dumb. Jin base damage up by 2, sure. Kaisa E bonus attack speed decreased later. Bonus attack speed down from 80% to 60%. I think they're gonna nerf Kaisa's shield eventually. It's just too good. We feel good about Kale's changes we made in 917, but she ended up slightly weaker than intended. We're buffing her E passive damage, making her basic attacks feel stronger throughout the game. Sure, whatever. Lee Sin brought into line of not having funky decimal place values, and the base R damage is up by 25 at all ranks. Sure. Nunu changes. I think the Nunu's ridiculous. They could take the shield off of his ult too. Who knew Nunu and Willump would be so good at snowballing? Base health down by 8, doesn't really matter. Armor by a half, mana by 3 point whatever. Like, this sort of shit. Who decided, like, yeah, okay, we're testing out Nunu. I'm thinking 2.83 or 283.56 on the mana. What are you guys thinking? Alright. Timo, Q and W quality of life changes are mushroom adjustments with more changes and infinite bounce. These changes should round out some of Timo's rougher edges. We're also making his shrooms more functional as the game progresses. Oh yeah, trust me, they're plenty functional. Oh, that's cool. Rift Scuttler no longer triggers mushrooms when it's not in combat. That's really good, actually. That means that you can shroom the whole fucking river. Mushrooms will now trigger more responsively, especially on enemies dashing through them quickly. Move Quick's ability icon will now have a bar above it to show its active duration. Okay, that's a Singe has that. Blinded targets will now see a green light around their screen while they are affected by Timo's Q. Sure. Bug fix. Warwick now properly gains bonus attack speed against all blood-hunted enemies. Featherstorm cooldown up by 20 seconds at all ranks. And base stats for armors reduced by 3. Sure. Zoe damage increase. Sure. Video accessibility options. A few new options have been added under the video in-game settings for players who need them. Blah, 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 blah. Enable screen shake on by default, but turning it off will remove the screen shake caused by things like Pulsefire, Ezreal's Recall, or Ornn's Ultimate. Visual sliders. Allow players to control the color level, gamma, brightness, and contrast of games. These options will change the overall appearance of the game except for the UI, allowing you to either diminish or highlight visual differences in-game quickly. That's really good. I'm happy about that. Bug fixes. Champions affected by stasis no longer move during the effect. Wow, good. Shaco fears a target with Jack in the box. He'll properly receive an assist if he kills target. Jinx now properly prevent Akali from moving when she uses R. Now properly consumes the full mana cost after she walks out of the area. Alawi can no longer dash a short distance using W when snared or rooted. That's kind of funny. Whatever. Cool patch. I'm fine with this. The Evelyn, yeah. What an unnecessary and excessive buff for Evelyn. Also, I haven't seen a single ASOL main say they enjoyed the changes. Echo buffs are not needed nor warranted. Every Echo mains are like, hey, what? How much did you add to his stun? With these buffs to Evelyn and Lee Sin's ultimates, I'm seeing a pattern of adding 200 to 300 damage every time you rank it up. Another early game jungler who would like to capitalize on early game success with more powerful ultimates so they can have more of an impact is Xin Zhao. His ultimate only does 75 damage early game and goes up by 100. Hmm. Whatever.